Today we are going to talk about kind of the transition between the New Deal and World War II. So Great Depression is happening, right? Everybody's broke. A lot of people lost their homes, they lost their jobs. Kids are being, sent away to family members to be able to eat food. Which let me know if any of you made SOS, if you're that out there. So that's going on, right? Hoover comes around and he's like, government handouts, that's not really going to fix anything. Everybody's going to just rely on the government. We don't want that. We want people to be independent and self-sufficient. So we're not going to give government handouts. It's bad. He's not reelected. He's blamed for the Great Depression. FDR comes in and FDR is like, no, all about the government handouts, right? Our three goals, relief for the needy, economic recovery, and financial reform. We need to get people money right now so that they feel good about themselves. Then we need to get them a job. Then we need to change the way the economy functions so that people believe in the system again. Because if they don't believe in the system, they're not going to participate. And if they don't participate in the system, it's going to fail all over again. So those are the three things he does, right? We looked then at specifics in terms of, in terms of different like policies and groups that he creates. So we have the Agricultural Adjustment Act that is working on changing the way that farmers produce things so that we're not overproducing. Also trying to make it so that a second Dust Bowl doesn't happen. We have the Civilian Conservation Corps, not Corps, Corps, that gets people jobs. This is why we have a lot of national parks. Because of the CCC, they're the ones who built all of the trails. The WPA, the Works Progress Administration, they built San Diego State, fun fact. Also, a lot of these jobs are manual labor jobs to keep people working, specifically keeping young men working, because we don't want them to revert back to late teens when people start drinking, because that's just going to be bad. So we need to be keeping people busy so that we are amped up about life. So all of that stuff is going on. And then World War II kind of starts to happen. Now, again, just like with World War I, we're not my problem. I don't really want to deal with it. It's like 1933. Hitler's sort of starting to take power. And again, we're still we'll let Europe deal with it. We're not going to worry about it. We eventually worry about it. So FDR, fun fact about FDR, if you look at these dates, so this is his presidency. Currently, you can only serve 2 presidential terms. Presidential term is 4 years, meaning that you can only serve 8 years as president. That's more than 8. I mean, I'm bad at math, but I know that that's more than 8. Because when FDR was president, we didn't have term limits. If you wanted to be president 14 times, you could. Historically, presidents had only been presidents for 2 terms. Washington kind of started that trend. He was elected. He was reelected for his 2nd term. And then at the end of that 4 years, everybody's like, well, we want to keep having you as president. And Washington's like, yeah, no, because that's just going to end up being the same as a monarchy, which is kind of why we fought this whole revolution. So he steps down after his 2 terms, let John Adams then be president, and then my boy Tommy J. Anyways, presidents had just stuck with that 2-term thing. FDR snapped. Not partially. He does it because this 1938 to 1940 region is when World War II is starting. And it's his belief that you don't want to have a change of command right when a war is starting, because that's going to cause a lot of problems. We're still trying to get ourselves out of the Great Depression. So if we elect a new president, he might change everything and then hot mess. So he makes the argument that he should continue being president in order to keep the status quo in America as we start to fight this war. He is no longer president in 1945. He's down in South Carolina or something with his mistress. And he has a brain aneurysm that explodes and he dies. So then he gets his wife Eleanor gets a letter from the mistress who was his secretary that was like, "Hey, your husband's dead. Sorry." So he dies. Okay. And then President Harry S. Truman takes over after that. So Truman really is like the wartime president. FDR just kind of starts it because technically World War II starts in 1939. So, um, yeah. Anyways, uh, that's FDR. Those are your fun facts. He's an interesting man. He's an interesting man. Anyways, so in terms of World War II and like what we're feeling about how we want to fight it, we don't want to. We don't want to. We're like, this is not our problem. Europe's going to take care of this. We'll step in if we have to, but like we're still in the Great Depression, so we don't have a whole lot of money. So we don't really want to deal with it. We get that Germany's upset. Germany's super bitter about the Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Versailles is how World War I ended. And we didn't really talk about it, but think back to 10th grade. We said that Germany couldn't have a military. They had to give up all of their like territories and all of their colonies. They had to pay back a crap ton of money to all of Europe and the United States. So Germany, like post World War I, not great. They don't have any sort of like structured leadership. Their economy's shot. Their industry is shot. They're just like, meh. Here we are. We're Germany. Hitler, who fought in World War I, is kind of like, dude, what the heck? Like, we didn't start World War I. Technically, Serbia did because Serbia shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand. This was an Austro-Hungarian Serbian deal. Did we declare war on France? Yeah. Did we have to? No. But we didn't start the war. So Hitler slowly starts this like, hey, like this propaganda campaign of like convincing people that Germany's the victim. They just were trying to like protect their buddy. The Treaty of Versailles is way too harsh. Not okay. We need to like reunify Germany. His biggest like campaign push is this idea of unifying the Germanic people. Okay, Germanic people, meaning everybody who has like Germanic DNA, which is people in Austria, which is people in all of Europe, basically. So he eventually takes power in 1939. He kicks the president out of office, kind of, and then he takes over. After he takes over, the United States starts to worry, but we're still like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And then two things happen. First thing that happens is this thing called Anschluss. Anschluss basically means he took it. Okay, we told Hitler, you can try to like build your military, you can fix your economy, whatever, but you can't take over any lands. You can't do it. And Hitler's like, okay, but I'm going to take this one. So Anschluss is he goes to Czechoslovakia, and he just like walks into Czechoslovakia and is like, dibs, I'm taking it now. It's mine. And he takes it over, and we're like, you're not supposed to do that. We don't really do anything about it. We're just like, hey, bad. That's not okay. Which is this policy of appeasement. Appeasement basically means you let somebody have a little bit, but then you tell them they can't have any more. Okay, so like if you're a screaming child in the grocery store and you're like screaming that you want to eat a cookie and your mom's like, you can't eat cookies, it'll ruin your dinner, and you're like, I don't care, I want to eat a cookie. And she gives you one cookie to like calm you down. You don't get the whole box, which is what you want, but like one cookie is better than no cookies. So you're appeased. You're like calmed down for a little. You're not totally satisfied because you wanted the whole box of cookies. But like it'll tide you over for now, and you'll be okay. Like one cookie is better than no cookies. Okay, so that's what we do to Germany. England and France get together, and they're like, okay, Hitler, you can take over Czechoslovakia, which was part of Germany post World War, well, before World War I, and then we split it all up. We said like you can have that part, that's yours, but you can't take over anything else. And Hitler's like, okay, that's fine for like 2 days. And then Hitler goes to Poland and he tries to take Poland over. So this idea of appeasement doesn't really work. In theory, it would be great, right? Hitler can have what used to be German. He can like put that part back together, and everything will be fine, and we can avoid war. This is what we do to avoid having to fight a war. We give in to what Germany's trying to do just a little bit, just enough to like calm them down. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Okay, the child keeps screaming. One cookie was good for like 5 minutes, but he still wants the whole box of cookies. Germany still wants to reunify all of the territories that were German during World War One. Because Treaty of Versailles, if you remember from last year, Treaty of Versailles takes all of that land that used to be German and it splits it up and it creates all of those tiny little countries in Europe that nobody can name. All of the I got my globe. The Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Romania, Bulgaria, all of the little tiny ones in here. I deflated it, sorry. All of the little tiny ones in here used to be Germany. And then World War One, we got rid of them all. And we created a bunch of countries. And Hitler's like, yeah, those are mine. You can't have them. Not okay with this. Like maybe our leaders in the past were okay with it and they just like let you take it. But I'm not down for that. Okay, so 39 is really when the war starts, because that's when Anschluss happens. That's when he starts to take over places in Europe. We still are like, no. We don't really get involved until a couple years later, when Pearl Harbor is attacked, which we will talk about next time. Okay, so we're still hanging out. FDR's dead. Truman takes over. Hitler is taken over. He's starting to take over parts of Europe, and everybody starts to go like, what do we do? Because this is only 20 years after World War One ended, so we're still like hurting from World War One. So we try to avoid it a little bit longer. So that's a super quick intro. We'll talk more about what America did in the war next time.